Hello everybody, welcome back to another VOD review. Today we have a gold tank main, I believe. This is, I guess they mostly play mag, but they said they felt lost this game. I don't know what I could have done better. I tried switching, but it always felt like everyone was all over the place. I'm no good at DPS, but I even tried that. Any advice for where I could have improved would be appreciated. Okay, so I see some people have already mentioned some things on so this is coming from Reddit. Some of the things that they mentioned are, I don't know, So I'm just going to make a video. It should be easier to digest and things like that. We usually do a lot of VOD reviews here. So we're going to look into this. I'm not going to review the DPS sections because I think you're a tank main. So we'll just go through with what it is. Also, I stay mostly with macro. There's usually a lot of really good tips in the chat below, which is why it's on screen. Make sure to check that out as well. Let's see what we can do. We have 2 supports and 2 tanks. Looks good. Okay, they have a Hawkeye. Take some space. Nice. We're pressuring out the Hawkeye. Oh, they have an Angela. Okay, we have things to worry about here. Our blade is dead. Let's see. Okay. So far, I think you're playing fine. I want to watch this for a second. I think you're playing fine so far. Okay, be careful here. Nice. Yeah, this is also a very long game. So I'm sure we're... Wow, okay. Hang on a second. Alright, that happens. I think you played fine there. Now we just want to die as quickly as possible. Yeah. I mean, so far you're playing fine. Your team is getting Hawkeyed. So right now I would probably think about switching my strategy and just going straight up for Hawkeye. So I think you're playing like normal, good default tanking, but the strategy needs to change because of how the enemy team is playing. I really want to see what you hold your ult for as well. Okay, Thor is up there, dealing with the Hawkeye, so you can push forward. Nice. Okay, be careful here. You don't have your bubble. You don't have your shield. All right. So here's something that like we really have to talk about. Basically, I want you to think about using your health bar as a tool. It's basically an information tool. It can tell you multiple things at the same time, right? So right here, you start taking damage, and your health bar isn't going up, right? It's only going down. So you use your bubble, and you're like, oh man, I need my bubble because I'm going to die. The other piece of information you need to take from this, other than I might die, I should probably use a bubble, is twofold. A, I can't push forward right now. And B, the reason I can't push forward is because I'm not getting healing. So I guess 3, why am I not getting healing? Because something else is happening in my backline, right? As a tank, you need to understand if I'm not getting healed, there's a reason. So let's go look at the reason. First of all, looks like our Gambit is trying, but he's also trying to heal the people up here. So his attention is split. If we look at this one, she's actually half dead. Why are both of them half dead? Aha, it's because there's an Angela in our backfield, right? So these are all things that you can actually figure out without even turning around. You say, I'm not getting healed. There's most likely somebody in my backline, or their attention is split, or something else is going on. And those things lead me to know now is not a good time to push, right? We don't really recognize that, and we push forward anyway. And now we've used our bubble, we've used our shield, at least a little bit. And so now we have to reuse the rest of our shield, and it's not enough. So make sure we're using our health bar as a gauge to understand what's going on behind us. Okay, so we're down 3. Please don't walk forward. Okay, we're up 1. Blade killed the Hawkeye. W key. He died, but that's still fine. That's in our favor. Okay, we get the dunk. I'm a little nervous, though. So this is kind of the problem. Let's see if it plays out. We'll see if it plays out. Get the kill. All right, it plays out. Oh, hopefully. Way to find him. Yep, shut him down. Bully him. Good. Okay. Oh, that support ult hurts. That's okay. Okay, this is already something I really don't like. So we're sitting on point. I want you to go up there and aggressively take space. A lot of people, they play Mag like really defensively because that's how his kit kind of is. But it's not good to play Mag like that. You actually want to be aggressive with him. Now, I'm not saying you W key into their spawn or anything like that. You have to find a way to actually be aggressive as Mag. But I don't want you to just stand around on card. So this is good. I like your target priority. You're doing it. Yes, this is exactly what I was talking about. Being aggressive. Good. But again, so back here, we start taking damage, and we notice we're not getting healed. So I like that you're being aggressive, but what I would do here is I would use this wall as cover, and I would keep like left clicking and using my teammate and go using my team up and go over here and use cover because I know I'm not getting healed and something else is going on. So I'm going to try to hold this position, and if I still don't get healed and they start pushing me, then I'm going to use my shield and my bubble to get back. We just don't recognize it. Because then in this scenario, we'd actually be all the way back here. Oh, the Moon Knight ult comes out. Now we're right here, and we're with our supports, and we actually have access to the high ground and things like that. So that's a couple times now that we just don't use our health bar as a tool to see what's going on behind us. I'm afraid to queue. You got it, Hollow. I believe you. Just make sure you're warmed up and ready to go. Okay, we're down 2 supports, but we have some people ulting. Like they cleaned up. Thank you for not standing on cart. I love this. That's not a great bubble. And right as I say, thank you for standing on cart. For not standing on cart. So what I want you to do in this scenario is your Hulk or your Thor and your Blade are actually doing a good job. So let me try to explain this in a really simple way. If you're on green team here, right? Let's say you're Mag and you're with this Invis and there's a Hulk in front of you, right? Where is it easier to recontest? Is it easier if the enemy team is holding you into this choke point and you have to push through here? Or is it easier if they're way back here, right? And that makes it pretty easy to see, oh man, we should be holding up here, right? So I actually have a really long-winded video. It's like 50 minutes about like how to tank in Marvel Rivals. If you want a really good in-depth talk about space and where to hold and things like that from a really big macro perspective, top-down, applicable to any character, I would go watch that. For right now, what I want you to think is like, okay, I want to hold up space as far as I could possibly hold up. That has the most advantage for my team and cuts off the enemy early. And then if they start pushing through, then I can back up to the next piece of cover. And what I really want you to get out of the habit of is 3 on cart. I don't care about 3 on cart. it's not as valuable as holding the space in an advantageous situation. Because now, see, now that they're through the choke point, this is much easier for the green team. They have a foothold, right? The only valuable thing is one on cart. Yeah, and hopefully it's a rocket or a cloak or a Luna, somebody who can still do things from far away. Unless you're on overtime and they have a dire decimating. Yeah, for sure. Alright, so we're up 1. We have a Thor ult. They are off Hawkeye, but they're on Punisher now. We have our ult. We're up. Our Thor is dead. Nice. Again, once again, we're just on cart. Like, you don't need to be on cart. Go hunt down this Hulk. Help your Gambit. Go kill this Invis. Go hold the space. There you go. Or you could have been over here holding this choke, right? But being on cart is just almost never worth it for a tank. Almost. I'm not gonna say never. Down 2. They have an ult. Right here, you're probably not going to be able to get out as Mag, so I would just, my friend calls it Blaze of Glory. I'd pick one of their supports, and I'd W key as hard as I can on that support and try to kill them, so that way the enemy team can't ignore me, and I can still get a kill. Or, in this case, you can actually just turn the tide. Nice. Your target priority has actually been pretty decent so far. Okay, their invis is ulting. Okay, I love this. So, why is this good? So, when you're playing tank, your primary responsibility is actually holding the front line and holding space. Taking it if you can, and not letting the enemy take it. Right? So if you get... So that's your primary responsibility. The nice thing right now is you have 2 tanks, okay? Thor, as a tank, he can hold frontline, he can dive into the enemy team, and he can peel, okay? Mag is very good at holding space and can peel, and he can take space slowly. He's great at frontlining, right? And so, since your Thor is frontlining and diving, that leaves you free to actually turn around. This is great because you're working with your other tank. Now, if your Thor was back here and helping with the Angela, then you would reverse and you would hold the front line. So this is good. The second I saw my Thor here, I'm like, okay, I need the... This is not a great bubble. I think somebody on the Reddit kind of already touched that. Okay, we gonna ult this? Hey, way to find him before. It doesn't end up working, but that's alright. Sure, you're jumping. Good. Played that really well. Don't Deadpool ultimag. There's no reason. Alright. I think you played that well. I think your team just lost the team fight, and that happens. I think you ulted to cancel out the Punisher and try to get the kill. Their invis shielded him. I think you mitigated the damage from the Hulk. I think you didn't die when it was very likely that you were. I think you played fine. All right. So here's something that we can definitely point out. So I'm not sure if you've watched much Flats, right? So what does Flat say about Mag? Basically, what you need to do here, and in any situation like this, is Mag is the person who gets to choose who on your team doesn't die. Okay? That's what you do. So right here, you choose the Gambit. Correct choice. Gambit doesn't die. Okay? As we watch, you use your bubble aggressively here, even though there's only 10 seconds left. And you try to give Thor a chance to get in. This bubble really just doesn't do anything. And then we're not going to have our bubble for our Gambit, who really needs it. Right? So in these tense last second situations, you need to change your line of thinking to like, who am I going to choose to not die? And then focus on that. Right, nice. The moon haunts you. Make sure you're on cart. Make sure you're on cart. Nice. Good. Good. Yes. Love to see it. Who are you going to choose to live? Okay, we picked Blade, and he's at full health. That's not a good choice. We should have a cloak around here somewhere, right? And a Gambit. Okay, now we see that our cloak doesn't have fade. Nice. Wow, they see 9. Nice. Okay. Not bad. Still some stuff we can pick out. Mistakes there.
All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
Namor ult 320 damage. That should be enough to one-shot support still, right? Okay, thank you for backing up. Please don't scoot forward. All right, so let's go back a little bit. So remember what I was talking about earlier? About how you have one person on the front line and then one person healing? So there's a couple different options here, right? Now, this fight has broken down really quickly because your cloak died early. So let's go back to right before your cloak died and let's see if there's anything we can do. Okay, so we're holding front line. Our cloak is... She has an Angela, right? Now, could you have stopped this Angela? Maybe. It's not really your job. So I think you're fine. You back up immediately, which is good. Now we're in this situation. So there's a concept here when you're playing as a dive tank, and it's basically just the concept of like, how much time back here do I have, right? Cap has a lot of time. Angela has less time. So they're going to be chilling back here and doing damage to your team, and your team should, in theory, your DPS should be doing damage to them, right? And your Blade's trying to push off the Hulk, and your Moon Knight was definitely looking at her, and she peeled away instantly, right? See, here they are. They're doing damage. So what can you do as a frontline tank? Your options are basically you can turn around and you can also do damage to this person. And if you do that, you're giving up the front line, so these people have free access, right? They can just shoot into your back line. They can stand here without a threat. Or you can keep shooting these people, use your shield and your bubble to stay here because you're not going to get support help, right? Because your supporters are being attacked. Use your shield and your bubble, and you keep pressure on these people, so that way her healing can't make it back here, and your team can do stuff, right? So those are kind of your two options. And in this scenario, especially like as we were talking about earlier, your Thor is peeling. So I would actually just focus on the supports and try to get a kill here, and that indirectly puts pressure on the people that are in your backline. Now, that's a lot of words, that's very complicated, but basically what I want you to think of in this scenario is one of you has to hold front line and one of you has to peel. If Thor is peeling, you hold the front line and kill their supports. If Thor is on the front line, then you turn around. And that's how it works with 2 tanks. Unfortunate. Yeah, that actually sounds awesome.
Help get that vehicle
I think that's going to be a big buff to Namor. There's a solo tank on defense, it seems there's just 2 tanks on attack. Oh man, this is so chaotic. Okay, nice. Oh, huge. Way to shield off the Hulk. Good stuff. You're actually playing well for the most part. I don't mind that bubble. Okay, we're a little bit too far out here. That's okay. So this is why we're too far out. Okay. So when you're tanking, your job is to hold space, right? And it's to take space that you can hold and give away space that you can't hold, right? So right where you're at, this is pretty decent. And if anything, it's a little too far. It's not bad because the cart is here, so you can back up behind the cart. But honestly, you should be back here. And the reason for that is you can't hold space out here. There's no cover. Their spawn door can see you, right? There's just no chance. And you can't retreat very fast as Mag. So this spot isn't very defensible. Whereas earlier, right, we were talking and I was like, you should push up farther. That's because this spot is extremely defensible. There's cover everywhere, right? There's cover here. This wall is broken, so you can back up if you need to and get more cover and then more cover, right? It's not bad. Whereas out here, this is just not very defensible. You can't actually hold this. And so we're stuck out here. We even push farther in. And now they're just going to support ult. And we have to give up this space. At least you do recognize that you have to give it up, right? Your invis doesn't, but you can't control other people on your team, right? Okay. Okay. That was 3 terrible support ults. That was something special. Okay. So now I'm thinking, okay, they rocket ulted, they cloak ulted. Who am I saving my ult for, if not either of those? Probably Hela. I'm gonna ult the Hela when she ults. Save my team, maybe even get a kill. Here it is. Bro. Like, homie. What was the point? What was the point? I think you time it correctly, but you just completely miss your team. Like, let me just put it this way. Like, here, if you had ulted and literally stood right here and looked at your team, you would have saved your team from dying. You probably would have killed either the Hulk or the Angela or both because you got charged so much, and your team wouldn't have died. And to top it all off, you would still be here with your team, able to bubble the Thor out of this and help your team still. We just like completely lost sight of the plot. So really what I just detailed is the process of like ult tracking and pre-planning of what you're going to do with your ult as Mag, right? Ideally, you'd like to kill a support, but if that's not an option, then I'd like to cancel out a DPS ult and save my team with it. Good bubble. Alright. So this is another weird fight. We can probably pick up some stuff. You kind of use your abilities for almost no reason here. Like your full health, we use bubble. For full health, we use shield to like walk forward. I don't mind the shield as much if you're using it to do something, right? So in that video, I basically break down like how you hold space. But what I want you to think about is like, I need to get to a position where I don't need to use my abilities and I can still do damage. So if I'm standing here, I have cover, I can pop out and do damage. And then if I need to stop taking damage, I don't need to use my abilities because I can pop back into cover. And then if they turn the corner, right? If they all somehow push over here and now you have to move, then you can use your bubble. Then you can use your shield in order to get to the next piece of cover, right? But right now we use all of our cooldowns when we don't really need them, and we don't gain any space doing it to get to cover. And then when we take damage, instead of just using the cover that we've made, the cover that we got to, we just use our abilities again. And then when we need them, we don't like have them. The second thing I want to point out here is you are frontlining, but don't worry about that. Just focus on what I was saying. Like using cover, not using our abilities if we don't need them. We use our abilities to get to cover so that we can use them defensively when we need them. All right, Emma. I love Emma. She's so fun. That's a cursor and a half. Okay. Contesting, that's fine. If we're not going to contest, you have to back up into the tunnel.
Keep up the momentum.
No. All right, so I'm going to just give you a mentality that you should have going forward, all right? So this is an ability-based team shooter, okay? The first part of that is ability-based. Each character has only so many abilities and only so many ways to interact with the other characters, either on your team or on the enemy team, okay? So what I want you to do right now is I want you to rethink this game in terms of your abilities and what they do, okay? So it generally just feels like you don't have a good idea of like what each of your abilities should be used for, okay? So I want you to rethink that. Now there are many ways to go about that. I'll give you a quick one on Emma because I have a very good sense for like what Emma does. So for her shield, I want you to think about it as cutting off things for a specific purpose, right? So there's a couple different ways that could look like. First, you could throw it off like you did earlier to cut off healing from the enemy team to try to get a pick up front, right? You could use it as you're backing up, as we talked about with Mag, to get from one piece of defensible cover to the next piece of defensible cover. You could use it to hold space for a little bit and like shield up something that's really aggressive. So like a Hela ult, right? You throw that up for a Hela ult, and then you turn the corner, get out of the way, the shield goes down, and now you're safe. Things like that. And then a big thing with the shield is you want to make sure you bring it back whenever it's not being used for a specific purpose. I think you're doing fine with the shield. Diamond Form. Diamond Form is just, it's so misunderstood because all of the character guides that you see for characters were characters that on release, right? On release, Emma's Diamond Form cooldown was significantly less, her damage was significantly higher, and her health was significantly higher. So you could actually use it aggressively. That's just not the case anymore. With Diamond Form, you only want to use it defensively. Almost exclusively. There are very niche scenarios where you can use it offensively, but it's very rare, right? It's an 18-second cooldown, plus if you stay in the form, that's 8 seconds. So If you don't have it when you need it, you're going to be screwed. Your crystal, your E, this thing you want to use on cooldown, okay? Like, it's so good. You want to be doing damage constantly. And then the main number one thing you want to be doing as Emma is getting your primary charge. If you get this to 100, you are a significant threat. If you're at 0 or anything below 100, you're really not a threat. So this is where Emma's primary damage, this is where her primary threat comes into play. Okay, so that's what I want you to be thinking of when you're playing this game is like, okay, what are my abilities? What do each one do? And how do I get the most value out of each ability individually? Okay, because we're just kind of like wasting them trying to like get kills. Our shield is out. We don't have any charge. We weren't able to secure a kill anyway. And so we're kind of like not getting the value that we need to be getting. So here would be another one. We throw our shield up, get out of the way. Yeah. A perfect example of what we could do with the shield, right? We throw our shield up, we get out to over here, and now all of a sudden the hell isn't a threat. And we give up that space, and now we're charging over here.
What are you aiming at?
Then same goes for any character, any ability, including the ults, right? Ults serve a specific purpose in this game, and they can fit multiple scenarios.
That's it. Don't
So
let
I know I'm giving like a ton of information here. It's gonna be really tough, but yeah. Yeah, this is it's just so bad. He got 18 seconds without it. Hey, this is a good ult though. I like this ult. It's rare to see a good Emma ult. So, W key, W key. Okay.
get that vehicle moving again.
Okay, good. We used our health bar. We saw we weren't getting healing. We backed up. Nice. Okay, this is a bad shield for sure, because all it's going to do is just break instantly. What's up, Charizard? Yeah, you're totally right, by the way, Charizard. You can definitely do that. Okay, so here, this goes into just the general concept of like, how do we control space as a tank? I'm trying to think how in-depth I want to go because this video is already 30 minutes. But basically, the way you hold space as a tank, especially Emma, but pretty much any of them, is you say, this is my area. If you come into my area, I will kill you. Okay? So that doesn't work on big tanks like this because the time to kill is just too high. So you can start shooting them, and then your team also has to shoot at them and pressure them out. But with characters like Hela, especially if you're at 100 charge, and Emma can absolutely demolish these people walking forward, right? So what I would do in this scenario is I would let these two go, and I would just focus on killing these. Like, you can absolutely delete them. And that's, again, why it's so important to try to keep Emma at 100 charge.
I suppose that helps. This queen's reign isn't over.
So close. This is your big chance. Only 60 seconds left. Hell unleashed!
Find the ult. Okay, good.
Us against the world.
What are you aiming at?
So this would be a really good use of Diamond Form. Right here, you can go Diamond Form, you punch Hulk twice, and then you grab him, kick him and then punch him again and try to stand in front of him and block any of the stuff that he does. Before, you could do a lot more than that, but that's at least going to kill like 4 seconds of his ult and like stop him in place from doing damage, killing your team.
Down to 30 seconds.
So we're back on mag.
Down to 30 seconds.
They're already doing that. There you go. Oh my lord. So this is just really unfortunate. Like, I feel like you're doing fine here. You're just a little indecisive. Which honestly, for low gold, like, you're playing well above your rank. I think you're fine. And then your team just falls over. It happens. Portal? Can we try to portal? Alright, I'm not gonna go over the Moon Knight. Just stick to tank. I wouldn't try. I would only play a role and characters that you're really comfortable with. Like, if somebody else wants to go DPS and things like that, they can do that. But swapping between roles is really, really difficult. So I wouldn't worry about it. Just play your game and focus on what you can do. But there's a lot of good concepts here. I think you're actually playing well. Couple little changes in like how you think about the game differently, with watching each one of their abilities and like what they're used for, understanding the concept of space. I went over it very briefly. If you want a more in-depth look at like tanking in space, I like definitely go check that video out. So I'll link it in the description. But yeah, anyway, that's going to be it for this VOD review. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care, God bless, and we'll catch you guys next time. Bye.